Well, like, apparently only I hear the bing. It's in my mind, or it's in Google's mind, and are they different? So it is Tuesday morning. It is EuroAsia Scrum. We've got Sam and Zivko in the house, or Tansago, as I'm known in the Makers world. So this is like, it's just a stand-up. You're part of the open development thing here. So I'm just going to report in on the projects and things that I'm working on. So the main updates are we've got quite a few pull requests coming in for the local support project, which over the weekend, which I've been reviewing and giving feedback on. I see I've got some more follow-up stuff on there, which we'll look at in a minute, maybe. That's good to see that activity. The local support client meeting is on Thursday, as usual. Then also, what have we got? We've got I run the edX 169 software engineering as a service, massively open online class. We've got, I think, is it week 5 to release tonight? So I'm going to be doing a little work on that. And then website 1, which is the Agile Ventures project itself, of which I'm the client. We're moving towards rolling out a thing that kind of just fixes up our Hangout connections. But so nothing huge to report. Really, things go. No major blocks apart from the usual lack of time. How are things going with you, Zivko?
Good. Hiring week now.
Yes.
Basically, the aim for this week, at least from my perspective, is to set up, and if I can start contributing for next week.
Sure.
What would you suggest I should look at?
Well, let me give you a little overview of how things work here in Agile Ventures. Maybe I will just get this little infinite regress going on here. I haven't got anything embarrassing behind there. No, that's good. Let's put that up there. Let's have a look at what's going on. The key thing for Agile Ventures is we've got these different projects. We've got them sort of organized by activity level. So the most active ones are at the top here. So website 1, that is the Agile Ventures site itself, and then local support is our oldest project. And basically you can find out more information about any of these projects going into them. And then there's other, anybody can start a project just by clicking the plus button here and just sort of putting it up there. It's just like GitHub, you can just put up projects. Any individual project, I'll just open a few of those in new windows. I think also, we need to look at our algorithm for how we're ranking these. Like the Met Plus project is new and is pretty active, but for some reason it's not. It's appearing a lot further down than those. But so we've got, as I say, this is the main project site itself. We've got like links to the GitHub and in most cases the pivotal tracker for each of these. But so you can read about the individual project. This is local support, which is the one I'm the project manager of. We can have a look here if we just go into GitHub and pivotal tracker. But basically each group can describe what they're doing, and each of these projects corresponds to a kind of a window in in Agile Ventures. So for example, this is the Met Plus project, and so probably your view of Agile Ventures, you're not probably in many channels, but of course, as you know, you can kind of browse the channels and join the thing. So for example, so that you're interested in finding out what's going on in local support, you can just join that channel. And certainly recently many channels, they have things hooked up so that the GitHub and the pivotal tracker issues as they come through will be into this channel, and then they'll be able to chat there. And so you can basically get a feel for what's going on with those.
And if I want to work on a particular thing, so I guess I'll just click on that button, join project, and join the pivot table group or whatever it's called.
I mean the flow. We do have this getting started flow here. And it's,
I've read it. Read it. Yeah.
So you've been through that already. We've got those things. Some of those are a little bit out of date. Yeah. I mean, basically the whole thing is sort of designed around as much or as little as you want. So you could just be a lurker, and there's no requirement, say, to sign up for Pivotal Tracker. I mean, if you're serious about getting involved in the projects, you'll need for most of them a Pivotal Tracker account and so on. But there's no rush. I mean, you can spend time just getting a flavor of who are the different developers that are working in a different project. And different projects have people that are clustered in different time zones and things like that. So and they're working for different kinds of charities, and they're working with slight variations of different technologies and so on and so forth. But so, for example, just hypothetically, say that you wanted to get involved in local support. I mean, I'm the project manager for local support. We have our we have our board for local support. So we've got, this is the stuff in yellow here, is that people are kind of actively working on. This is the stuff where we're kind of in a sort of a consolidation phase where we're trying to clear up some fixes and bugs and things before we start on big new features. So you can read about these things. So for example, we just had a guy, I think he's a Russian guy, but he's out in the Far East, and he has just picked up this one here. So this was a bug that I discovered in production, and so recently we were having chats, and he's now kind of going backwards and forwards with me, and so actually he's now submitted a pull request. So if you ever look at the pull requests here, this one is from him. So he's as a result of having a bit of discussion with me and a bit of chat in Slack and backwards and forwards, and so he's submitted this pull request, making some minor changes to the code. And he was actually in the stand-up yesterday morning, and I was giving him some feedback, and I've given him comments on his code, and it's sort of that's how that happens basically. The we've got some new input stuff here from Marion that I'm going to respond to. Does that help? I mean, I could probably walk you through some more stuff if you're interested. Any questions?
I was just thinking of, if I want to start anything, I would just click the start, submit the pull request, then you review it. And if I can pair with someone, that would be great. But I can work on my own as well, I guess.
Yeah, in principle. I mean, we love pairing, but of course, it's not always practical with people in different time zones around the world. I mean, the kind of the vision of Agile Ventures ultimately is that, with enough people, there's always somebody to pair with. I mean, I think our community has not reached that level of critical mass yet. I mean, the other thing, what I generally would say to people is, and I can invite you to hear, but rather than, that's their board, sorry. Rather than necessarily just taking a thing and pressing start and working on it independently, what I would say is probably having looked through some of them, and we can look through some together now because we've got a bit of time, is, for example, you can take the link there for the story. See that little link button there? So you might be looking and then saying, oh, that kind of sounds interesting. Oh, well, there we go. And so you take the link for that, and then you might come into the Slack environment, for that chat room, and you might say something like this. You might say, hey, Tansaku, I was thinking of working on this, I have a question. And so, I mean, the particularly important thing with a distributed team is that you're kind of, excuse me, is that you're making other people aware that you're thinking about doing something. What you don't want to do is to work on something in isolation and put a whole lot of work into it, and then come back to the group and find that you were missing some critical piece of information or who knows what. I mean, it's just, I'm kind of, as you know, I'm a bit of an exhibitionist. I'm all about doing everything in public and keeping it open. And that's, the philosophy for Agile Ventures is open development. So, we kind of try to be as expressive as possible about what we're intending to do and get done. And yeah, I mean, of course, at a meeting like this, and when there's not so many other people around, we could talk through and look for a thing for you to work on. The thing, though, before even getting started on a thing there, for any of the projects, the thing to do is to try and get set up with the project and run it locally. Yeah. So, for example, in the local support wiki, we have our installation notes, and so do we have a link to OSX? Yeah. So you're probably on OSX, and we've got you want to kind of do the installation for your appropriate platform, and then make sure that you've got all of the tests running green locally, and so on and so forth. If that makes sense, that's kind of your base step before you would try and do anything else. But of course, you could certainly be looking through, what the issues are and seeing, oh, that's how, you might compare different projects and say, well, those are some interesting issues. Those ones look manageable for me. You can look at other ones and say, oh no, this looks far too complicated, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's the whole thing is open, so feel free to browse and explore. Is there anything else I can tell you about how it works?
No, nothing at the moment. I'll have a look at the pivot tracker and at the GitHub,
Yes.
and I'll pick a few. And if I have any questions, I'll just post in the channel.
Yeah, that's exactly the way to do it. And yeah, by doing it in the channel, if I don't happen to be online, like at weekends I tend to be offline. There are that's a way of getting to know the other developers. In fact, Thomas is here this morning. Hey, Thomas, how are you doing?
Just fine. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's life is complicated and interesting, as I think it is for you as well. Yeah, are you keeping well?
yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Life is complicated, and but yeah, we are survivors, right?
Absolutely. We will survive. There's a theme song for that. Yeah. So Thomas, this is Zivko Thomas. Thomas is my co-founder of Agile Ventures. Zivko is just graduating from Makers Academy, one of our great students. Yeah, Thomas, did you have anything to report on the Agile Ventures front? Are you there? Are you about to do your Makers Sweden stand-up? Or
we just finished that. So I just popped in. I saw that you guys are live still. So just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Oh, well, absolutely. Good to. Yeah, I've moved the time of the stand-up back slightly just to fit in with the evolving schedule. I think this is yeah. So I'm going with 8:45 UTC for us. So just it makes it a quarter of an hour later.
It will make it easier for me to join.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. So everything going well with Makers Academy Sweden then?
Yeah, we're working our final projects.
Right.
So that probably will be the final ones, and yeah, so it's all good.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you've got Raul with you. Raul's been doing some good work on the taking over the Website One project management, and yeah, I think things are they're bumping. I mean, you've seen with the Agile Ventures Slack, we still have large numbers of students from the MOOC doing pairing through Agile Ventures, or at least creating the pairing sessions, which is the site has survived with the minor upgrade, and yeah, it's very good to see. I don't know what percentage of these things coming through are actually I think certainly some of them are pairing sessions, some of them are just people working independently. I don't what it would be. Yeah, I think it's been overall kind of a success, but what I'm concerned about is that we don't necessarily know what is the next step forward, if you know what I mean. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it sure does. What is the next step forward for the MOOC? I mean, is there a next iteration planned already, or?
Yeah, I mean, the MOOC will continue. I mean, the part 2 is going to be in the spring. I mean, and Armando's rerunning his Berkeley class in the spring. Armando is very keen to get complete the textbook upgrades that will bring everything into line with Rails 4, and he's very committed to that. He's got obviously his Mentiv thing going on as well. So I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here. I get the sense that maybe the MOOC will carry on running once a year, with the first part of it in the fall and the second part of it in the spring, which kind of makes. I mean, there's supposed to be some new frameworks coming in. They're going to better support all of the smaller instructors around the world who are using it, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean,
we get a big boost in membership. I mean, we have like 600 new members in the last month and a half.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, the interesting thing will be to see is as the time is taken up with the MOOC is we've certainly had some. I've got some new people working on local support. I think there's new people working on Met Plus. There's certainly activity going on. As I was saying to Zivko before, I mean, the interesting thing will be can we convert and get to that sort of critical mass when there is always a pair partner available, for the majority of the time, rather than occasionally, as it is now. So yeah, we'll see. It's yeah. What I'm I mean, I think the one thing I think that might be useful to do, maybe at the end of the MOOC or at the end of part 2, maybe actually before Christmas, is try and survey the MOOC students to try and see how they found the Agile Ventures pairing experience and what we could do to help improve that. I think that's an important move. The other thing is I've created this pricing page. I don't know if you saw. I mean, this is the thing. I think I would love, particularly now that we're paying like about $18 a month to run the site. The thing, this is like a very rough draft, but I just created it's unlinked, but based on GitHub's pricing page, which I'm sure we've all seen, which of course looks much nicer than ours. But so a kind of a model, a bit. I feel like for all the different kind of things we could do, maybe the most important thing is to try and put Agile Ventures on a footing where we can cover our costs, you know, to make it sustainable
Yes,
in the long
yes.
run. And I basically, rather than actually changing anything, but building a landing page a bit like GitHub's one, you know, and do this and basically to say what it might cost for people to have, you know, access to private projects and so on.
Yes, yes.
Maybe the way to go. Anyway,
How's that website 2 project going with the website 3? I mean, with for charities. You know, there's the stuff that the Ronin Bytes builds.
Well, they sort of made that, and then they sort of dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, we have that the prototype. I think it needs some more work before we could kind of push it out.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm planning kind of when things have calmed down a little bit to maybe just before Christmas to reach out to them to see if they want to do any more. Well, what I'm also going to be doing is this is part of the Makers thing, is writing a rubric for reviewing final projects. Because I think one of the things that often happens with the Makers projects is that you know, they kind of get dropped, and often, you know, there was a big rush to get them released, and that, you know, they may not be in the nicest states. But so, like I've been doing for the I don't know if you realize, Thomas, I've been doing these review rubrics for or Ben and I have been doing for the junior part of the course. I want to extend them all through the senior part of the course, so that there is a rubric for reviewing the, you know, the Makeathon, for reviewing the final project, the senior components, and then I want to try and reach out to everybody and say, hey guys, let's get our, you know, final project repositories into great shape, and do that. You know, that'll be part of that bigger thing. But the yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's another way to go. I've kind of, you know, we didn't do the charity jamboree last time around due to like kind of logistical scheduling complex and so on. I'm not sure if I will recreate that at some point. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's great to have Zivko in here, and I'm going to be talking to the current Makers graduates about, you know, how to get more involved in Adventures. So we'll see. Yeah.
All right, sounds great.
Good stuff. Good to catch up with you, Thomas. Yeah, I hope to see a bit more of you, and hopefully after the after your own graduation, things might calm down a little bit for you. We will see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, and Zivko, just don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything.
Yeah. Just one thing, Sam. Spike said that you speak about Agile Ventures on Wednesday.
Yes.
But he hasn't said anything about time.
Okay.
So if you have something in mind, if you can just put it in the channel so everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, I assume that I will do. I assume that what I heard from Will is that he's seeing you at 10 and 2:30 each day. Is that right? Or what?
Yeah, 10 and 2. 10 and 3, because at 2 we have an hour with Dana.
Okay, so 10 and 3. So I think it'll probably be 3 on Wednesday. But I'll confirm that with Will now and yeah, put it on the channel. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.
All right. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.